everybody. My name is Edward S. Redcar, and I'm the host of Edward S. Redcar's Entertainer Chat. And today I have the awesome pleasure of speaking with Patrick Kilpatrick. He's an actor, he's a producer, a screenwriter, a director, among all other things. And we'll try to get to know everything Patrick today. Not quite, because there's so much that he does. So, Patrick, welcome to the show. And how are you doing today?
I'm really well, Edward, and better for speaking to you. I'm really a blessed man.
Thank
So we're getting ready to launch the Kickstarter campaign for something I wrote, directed, produced, and star in with 10 other great people and the wonderful team here at Uncommon Dialogue Films and my kids. I'm going right from your interview to taking care of my granddaughters for 24 hours.
Oh, okay.
Which is a delight. And, they're such individual characters. They're like 5 and 3. And
Oh,
so it'll be
that
a manic, wild, Barbie infested
right. I, I,
thing.
I was just going to say they're probably big Barbie fans, with all the
Yeah.
Barbie movies and everything that's come out. So yeah, they're when they're that age, they're just like a sponge, right? I mean, the first thing they say, if they like it, I mean, they're all in, right?
Well, yeah, we went to the Barbie executive exhibition with my wife and I, and in fact,
Okay.
we've got some pictures of that. And I play invisible Barbie policeman
Oh,
because we have our special. Barbie is invisible in their backyard, so I'm invisible Barbie policeman. So I have to go out and try and arrest invisible Barbie or save invisible Barbie,
right, right.
whatever's going on. So
You got to try to arrest somebody that you don't actually see, but for her
exactly,
for her you
exactly.
have for her you have to see Barbie, right? You have to have her. You have to see
Well,
her in front of you, right?
yeah, invisible Barbie is, invisible Barbie. We're introducing a new character tonight, though, but they don't yet know, called Sparkle Man.
Sparkle Man,
So
that sounds
yeah,
interesting. I want to
I
know more about it.
well, I have little sparklers that my wife picked up, and so I intend to, become Sparkle Man.
Okay.
Also, there's Monkey Back, where I get down on my hands and knees. I actually wear pads. I do my own stunts in my films in
Okay. Okay.
measure,
Oh, you
and so I
still
have
hunt?
a full pad bag. So
Oh,
when I go over to visit my granddaughters, I pad up, and this suit I'm wearing right now is one of the costumes from Dying for Living, and
oh, okay.
we have I have a number of different suits, each one with a duplicate copy that is overly large that allows you to put the pads so that you can do your own stunts
Oh, okay. Okay.
but when I go to visit the granddaughters, I pad up because uh, I do a gibbon. You know what a gibbon is?
Oh, it's something like a monkey, right?
Right.
Like
It's
in the tree. In,
large monkey.
yeah, in the tree,
You know,
hanging in the trees. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they always cross their hands when they walk.
Okay, okay.
I become a gibbon and with knee pads and elbow pads, and the granddaughters ride on my back
Okay,
while
okay.
I go all around the house being a gibbon, and that's called monkey back.
Okay,
And we
okay.
have backpack, magic backpack where they
Right.
get on backs, and
Oh, okay. Oh,
and
so
then
they
there's Rocket Girl. So Rocket Girl involves a lot of sort of flim flam, because I have to pick them up and throw them into the air, and then they fall down onto the comfy couch. So
okay.
So in order to minimize the physical effort of having to lift them up more than I need to, you come up with a a lot of sort of hype in the conversation with excitement. So you're grabbing their legs and
Right.
you're getting ready to lift them off like they're a giant Soviet missile in the height of the Cold War. And so
Ready to
you're
launch them, right? Ready to
right.
launch them, right?
So there's a lot of anticipation and talking about, Khrushchev
Oh, okay. Well,
and the dog and the monkeys being lifted in the capsule and the astronauts, and you're doing all this talk while you're vibrating, and then you fling them up, and so
right.
that's Rocket Girl.
Right.
So,
So then they're learning a little bit about history too, Russian
oh
history
yeah,
and all
yeah,
that.
we
So
we 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 shove in some topical references to
yeah.
Yuri Gagarin and
Yeah. So
YouTube flights, whatever we could shove in there to keep us from actually having to lift them up, but
right.
the anticipation for the
Right.
final launch.
So
So
so so in all of those episodes, they play the role of a backpack, right? Because you said they're on their back, you're on their
that
back like a
uh,
backpack, and then
yeah, the backpack is pretty much my wife's routine. Although I've done it occasionally, but
okay.
she's the originator of the magic backpack.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So,
so then in that scenario, that in that time anyway, she was cast first before you. Is that safe to say in that role? As-
well, Baba, yeah, she had the initial connection with them. Although, I don't know, they have the two granddaughters have always gravitated toward them. First of all, they adore their Baba, but I think there might be something between little girls and grandpa that's
oh,
special.
sure.
And
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
there's I like to think I have a grandson too who is about 16
Uh-huh.
months, and he seems to really gravitate to his grandfathers. He's got
Okay. Okay.
the
You know,
girls didn't have a grandfather, so I was actually nominated because they're
oh,
my
okay.
wife's son's daughters. I was nominated to be a
Oh,
grandfather. So
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
Grandpa Bratrick was what they originally called me. So it was a great honor, and it was a very
Oh,
emotional moment
so
when they
so
asked that I be
so
their grandfather.
so they couldn't say the P and the A, but they just said Ratrick, Grandpa Ratrick. Was that it?
Well, very much like Rocket Girl,
Oh, okay.
Kira, the oldest, the first time she uttered my name, it was over FaceTime, because of COVID starting. A lot of our early relationships were over FaceTime. So they
Right.
learn of you as a two-dimensional. My wife is very articulate about talking about this experience. So
Uh-huh.
they learn about you first in a two-dimensional situation.
Right.
We
Yeah.
were communicating because of COVID over the FaceTime. And then, so when you finally meet them and you're in a three-dimensional form,
Uh-huh.
it connects up with 3D movie making and that kind of thing. But when they meet you in the 3D form, that's a little bit of a shock because they've been learning about you and they're very comfortable with learning about you and thinking you're real in the FaceTime situation. So over FaceTime, Kira was getting ready to go to bed, and her parents, Alex and Erica, said, "What? Say goodnight to Grandpa, and or say goodnight to Patrick or stuff." So you're
Uh-huh.
sitting there and you're waiting for. She looks like Snow White
Oh,
for the her to open the mouth and say my name for the first time in her entire existence. This is going to be
wow.
Kira's first expression of my name, and she
Wow.
sits there at the top of the stairs in all of her Snow White glory, and she with the black hair and the white skin, and she goes, "Good night, Rat Trick." And so I became Grandpa Patrick. And I
Oh,
thought
okay.
I was totally infatuated with it. And
Oh
so,
yeah, yeah.
so somehow sensing my inner brat, and so there you go. So I've been Grandpa
Grandpa
Bratrick.
Radtrick, yeah, Grandpa Radtrick.
There's Ratrick. Oh, there's Ratrick too, and there's Grandpa Patrick, and
Okay.
now it's Grandpa Patrick.
Okay. Well, it sounds like it's like a constant progression of your name. It's like morphing into different forms, right?
Sure,
Like the old
sure,
like
sure.
the older she gets, she'll transform it into another form, and you'll become known as
Yeah.
another kind of superhero by like another name or something like that.
Well,
But
speaking of superhero things, lately I've been an athlete most of my life, and
yeah, I was noticing in the background you have a lot of workout equipment. You must work out quite a bit.
I do. This is something that happened in COVID, so I just put this in. But I belong to a wonderful couple of gyms, and I had a car accident when I was 17, so I always got into very balanced exercise, and I do a lot of swimming and stuff like
Okay.
that. And
They say
so,
swimming, they say swimming's the best exercise because it's like less stress on your joints and
yeah,
everything.
less impact.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Was always tearing myself to pieces on movie sets, but
Oh,
you
okay.
have to put yourself back together with
Yeah.
massage and chiropractic and
Oh, okay. Okay.
balanced exercise. So I'd keep myself in a balanced state,
Right,
so
right, right.
I'd be able to perform as fully as I could when I was on movies. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
so. Um, Swimming is awesome. I go swimming twice a day in I live in a landmark building. My wife and I live in a landmark building. It was owned by Mae West,
Oh,
and
really?
the
Wow. Wow.
the landlords, who are sort of Russian mobsters, um, and not really devoted to the historical preservation of the building. So we've had gone to sort of I wouldn't say war, but we've gone through struggle and
Oh,
triumph,
okay.
and
Okay.
insisted that they do their responsibilities in
Yeah.
preservation,
So
because they get big tax breaks
well,
from LA
naturally,
City because they're supposed to do these preservation things.
right? Because
They
it's
weren't doing their
yeah.
job, so we brought the media in, the Larchmont Chronicle, which is
Oh,
a local
okay.
newspaper, and so that's been a thing
Yeah.
to elevate, because
So
everybody wants to elevate their
oh,
environment.
naturally, naturally. So
Any
more or less, you could probably say it's a difference of opinion, right? They see things their way, and
No, I would say they're tax fraudsters, and they're landlord grifters, and they need to be called to task
mhm,
uh, with pressure by the media and the residents. And there are some people who just don't willingly fulfill their responsibilities,
mhm,
either to the community or um, to this great building, which deserves to be preserved, especially if the citizens of LA are going to be subsidizing your efforts
right,
with $1 million tax breaks.
right, right.
So you can get off your lazy rump and actually do what you're supposed to do. So
Hmm. Hmm.
that takes active involvement in people to elevate their community, and
Oh yeah, yeah,
happy to do it.
yeah.
And so they've been required to fulfill their obligations uh,
Hmm.
uh, to the city and to the people
Hmm.
of uh, Los Angeles City, and to the residents of the building. But
Yeah, yeah.
anyway, one of the things they are not required by law is to maintain the heated pool. So the pool, although they're obligated to clean it,
Uh-huh.
the health department, the pool is freezing. So I go swimming in the morning and the evening. So I've turned the disadvantage of not a heated pool into an advantage. And lo and behold, we're in this age of, uh, cold plunges and all this other stuff.
Right. Global warming, the weather is going up and down and switching all the time. Yeah.
Well, I meant health-wise, the
Oh,
greatest thing
okay.
that's going
Health-wise.
on right now is cold plunges. I've been doing that all my life. So I just before our
Yeah.
interview, I came in from jumping into the pool because if you're screenwriting all day or whatever activity you're doing or raising money for films or
Right.
directing and producing and assembling cast, uh, and you're on the computer a lot and on
Yeah.
the phone a lot, you go to that cold plunge and boom, it kind of strips the day away from you and
Right.
you're
Right.
I scream a lot under the water because when you first go in, it's freezing. But I do
So,
two laps, and
okay.
I'm hitting it every day. And
Okay.
last year, because I got COVID, I only got to Thanksgiving. I got
Oh,
COVID, flu, and strep throat all at Thanksgiving. So that was his part. But this year, now I'm into February, and I've gone every day that I've been in town.
hey,
So
yeah. Yeah,
that's
probably if you take when you take a quick plunge and then you come out screaming, if your grandkids are around, they'll probably say, why is Grandpa Ratrick? Why is he screaming? Who's he mad? Is he mad at
don't
us?
don't go down to the rat trick so quickly. It's rat trick. If we stick with the rat trick, your audience is going to think, oh, he's a rat trick. But I really, ultimately, I don't want to be lionized as Grandpa Rat Trick. I am willing to play that role for a while, some just like things, but it's more, Rat Trick is a step up from Rat Trick.
Ratrick, yeah,
So,
yeah. It do-
um,
it does have a better ring to it. Bradtrick,
right.
Grandpa, yeah, it
Well,
does
rat
have a
trick
better
is
ring
it's got
to
the
it.
brevity thing, but
Yes, yeah, yes,
um,
yeah.
I everybody walks around with themselves their sense of themselves as having at least a few noble qualities.
Right.
So I'm not so sure Lord Ratrick would
No, that
no
yeah,
would do it, but
yeah. No, that doesn't have the same ring to it as Bradtrick. Yeah, it's got a different. You were saying before about
there's Cleopatrick. That was a nickname that I had when I was younger, Cleopatrick. And
oh,
then, of
okay.
course, I was Killer for a long, long time. It was
Right.
ironic since I grew up to play all these serial killers and bad guys in movies. Hal Patrick was another nickname for a while.
Uh-huh.
I grew up in a town where people they mimics. It was a town of comics and mimics, so you were constantly mocking each other
Right.
on some level. So uh,
Right.
I fear I should talk about dying for living with your audience.
Yeah, you were mentioning when we were talking about you were saying recover from sitting all day recovering, and you were saying working on the computer and fundraising. So yeah, you have a big fundraising campaign that's going to start Tuesday, February 13th next week for Dying for Living. So yeah, talk
God
about
love
that.
you.
What's that all about?
The day before Valentine's Day, dying for living, and I sent you the teaser, and perhaps you'll put that up on your screen for the so your audience can see that. But dying for living is something I wrote, directed, produced, and am starring in with 10 and growing action icons. Costas Mandalore, Nina Bergman, Olivia Gruner, Keegan Machado, 8-time world jiu-jitsu champion, uh, Chuck Liddell, the Iceman, two-time light heavyweight champion of the world for UFC. So you can imagine the kind of fights we're getting from this.
I
All the
know it. I know it because you've been in a lot of films with big name action figures, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Tom Cruise, Chow Yun-Fat, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce
Yeah,
Willis,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, the list goes on and on.
Well, yeah, Billy Blanks, of course, eight something like 7 or 8 time karate champion. He's in the movie. Tatiana Neva, uh, absolute beauty, action performer.
Hmm.
Olivia Gruner, I've done a lot of action, French martial arts sensation, and a real life French commando. He's doing our tactical firearms stuff as well as appearing in the movie. Uh, who else? My young son, Sam Kilpatrick, who's handsome as the day is long, as he's coming in on it. And I
Great,
hope to
great.
have my other son, Ben Kilpatrick, make appearance in the film as well.
Okay.
All twins, two delightful 14-year-old twins who were in the movie. Ivana Wynn, a great Asian beauty, a lot of fashion flair and
Hmm.
comedy. Um, so it's got a really stellar cast, myself included, hopefully, and not hopefully, hopefully people perceive me as an addition to that absolutely
Well,
luminous.
yeah,
And
I know they will. I know they'll. Yeah.
um, I'm very grateful to be, and this is all kidding aside, very grateful to be working with these people. It's stunt coordinated by Art Camacho, who is himself is a great director and a renowned martial arts stunt
Okay.
choreographer
Okay.
and
Yeah.
stunt coordinator. And Stephen Colson, who's the cinematographer, certifiable genius. He has gone from the time we shot the first 2 weeks of Dying for Living, and he was relatively unknown, to he's
Hmm.
now directing pictures all of on his own. I knew that the moment I met
Yeah.
him and saw how he worked.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
you have that 2/3 of the way filmed already, right? That
yes, sir. Yes,
yeah.
sir. My wife Heidi, who's a co-screenwriter with me, Raffaello, my producing partner, Jacob Bressler, great line producer, has directed films himself, and has stepped in. He's on the board production behind the scenes and just a great asset as well. I've done many films with him in the past. And we've got a lot of extra people coming in at the end for the culmination of the film. So
Hmm.
uh, your audience will be able to see a lot of really great,
Oh
great
yeah. Now,
uh,
as far as stunts, you were talking about that you've always done a lot of stunts in the movies. Uh, are you doing as many stunts in this movie as you have in the past, or
I'm
less?
actually committed. I want to tip out my hat to a guy named Dave Rowden, who was my stunt double for 10 years. But they would bring in Dave if there was something that was really, really life threatening. Like he did the blast out from Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis when I went out the door and he tumbled over, they almost blew him across the street,
Uh-huh.
which was a little unplanned because they dug up a place in the middle of the street, and he actually overshot that. And I thought he was going to really be seriously injured, but he wasn't, thankfully.
Hmm.
Dave did a couple of noteworthy things for me over a 10-year period, but in the main, I did about 90% of my own stunts. In Dying for Living, I'm doing 100% of them.
Okay. Okay.
We've got some great aerial work.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, and a lot of great stuff that you can see from the teaser where it's going.
Hmm.
And it
Hmm.
only goes up from there with the addition of Chuck Liddell, Nina Bergman, and Cynthia Rothrock. I must not fail to mention the queen of mixed martial arts
Right.
cinema,
Yeah.
Cynthia Rothrock. And I think the audience is going to be totally shocked in the manner that they see Cynthia
Uh-huh.
in the movie because
Because you had a whole post about her just
shocked and enthralled.
featuring her, yeah, not too long ago. I noticed that post you had, yeah, to
Yeah, we're trying. We're right now we're in the midst of a campaign that's highlighting each of the people that's in it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so yeah, it's a great cast. It's a
Yeah.
really good story. A vain, aging hitman, in an attempt to get redemption, assembles the family he abandoned long ago, two
Mm-hmm.
ex-wives, twin daughters, a Dutch, Wesley Edema, wonderful Dutch actor, a rock star, entrepreneur, as well as um, a physically dynamic, really driven actor. He's in it and plays my Dutch son. Um, so the hitman, played by myself, very vain, and as he's aging, assembles his family, and they're all professional hit people too.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so mayhem and betrayal and murder and mortality
Mm-hmm.
results. And hopefully there'll be some laughter in there. And I know there's a love story in there as
Yeah.
well. And so,
Well, I guess you have to sort of break up the seriousness once in a while with a little humor or a love story kind of interjected in there, so it's just not like one pounding moment after another.
right.
Kind of
It's a symphony. That's very insightful of you, Ed.
yeah, to kind of break it
It's,
up a little bit,
yeah,
like the highs and lows. Yeah, yeah,
it's a symphony. It's a
yeah,
ballet,
yeah,
if
yeah.
you will, so that there's some tender things and there's
Mm-hmm.
great
Mm-hmm.
passion.
Mhm.
Um,
You were saying before, you were mentioning when you're playing those roles with your granddaughters, you said that you were wearing the same outfit that you are now, which is in the movie. So in the movie, what's the name of your character in Dying for a Living?
uh, Good God, Heidi, I've drawn a blank. What's my character? I swear to God, I just for a moment I can't remember, and it's not a Biden moment.
Yeah,
It's just
no.
I think mostly I have my focus on the totality of the
Oh,
movie,
okay.
the
Like,
totality of his name is Alex,
okay, okay,
and Alpekas, Alex, and
okay, okay.
so yeah, and really, this is why I think Edward, I have a very good friend named Ed Vard. So occasionally I'll call you Ed Vard. But
Okay.
Edward, the reason that I might have some hesitancy about knowing my own character's name is because my first impulse as a producer is not to put myself front and center.
Hmm.
And that's why I think it's taken this long as I've played supporting characters in big action films and a lot of leads and guest star things in television. My first instinct as a person is how does the show work as a totality?
Hmm.
And so I probably as a screenwriter could have written my own lead parts a long, long time ago, but it really wasn't what our slate at Uncommon Dialogue Films is about.
Hmm.
It's about, is this an extraordinary, globally attractive picture? And does the totality of the circus or the totality of the tapestry or painting or
Hmm.
palette, if you will, does that work? So I think of it, things in much more of an ensemble situation rather than, okay, this is a Liam Neeson movie or
Hmm. Hmm.
um, this is a Jean-Claude Van Damme
Hmm.
movie or this is a Patrick Kilpatrick movie.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is a totality of
So,
story.
so
So
then, so
it doesn't
then,
surprise me
uh,
at all that I would forget for a moment what my actual
yeah.
characters.
Well, so then, like, the sum of all of the parts is, well, is actually more important than any one individual part, right? It's like everything coming together, like towards the common end, is the important thing, and each individual part in the mechanism is important, but not as important when everything is used together, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. You're very, very spot on with that because
Mhm.
there are a lot of it's nobody wants to be really good in a bad movie.
Mm, mm,
What you want to do is be really good in a really good movie. So as an actor, sometimes I don't do that much anymore because, well, what my job is to whatever movie I'm on, if it's somebody else's movie, like I was just in Cynthia's movie Black Creek, and God, I have so much respect for Cynthia
mhm,
and
mm.
admiration for what she's pulled off with Black Creek and the continual saga of Black Creek. But my job isn't just to be a good actor in a movie. My job is what can I do with Uncommon Dialogue Films, with my right ability as a screenwriter is and producer, is to elevate the entire movie. So, and I kind of been doing that most of my career, but if they needed improvisation, which
Mhm,
sort
mm,
of borders screenplay writing, if I've polished scripts for things,
mhm, mhm,
um, and directors who want that and appreciate that, you can just go in and do your lines as an actor.
mhm, mhm.
That's what's required. Largely, that's what I did on Cynthia's movie. No improvisation. It's all her words and her co-writer.
Mhm.
Uh, not a lot of improvisation at all. But other movies, you might be improving for hours and hours
Yeah, yeah,
that you've written in advance to expand the character and
yeah,
elevate it,
yeah.
or you
Do
may be
you
polishing the script
yeah.
completely.
Do you prefer like more improv to following a script or the other way around, or
So
is it like a balance?
I'm very dedicated to whatever the project needs. But like
Okay.
when we mentor young actors, look, the ability to improv is great because maybe you're going to have to work on some scripts that are not completely realized. And
Hmm.
so it helps to be able to be verbal and be topically attuned or to contemporary events and that kind of thing so that you're actually able to elevate. I mean, there have been times when I've been hired in the past as a thug, but they get a thug who's highly intelligent and also maybe streetwise, and so that it fits in the totality of the project.
Hmm.
And it elevates the project and elevates the script as well.
Hmm.
So, do I like him? I like both,
Hmm.
but I come from the school that if the writer wrote it, you'd have to figure out a way to say it
Yes,
that is
yes.
compelling and authentic. Uh,
Yes, right, right. Or say it a few different ways and then kind of let them decide which one they like best that fits the storyline or like the tone of the story, right? Make an inflection.
you don't want to unbalance the
Oh no, no.
style of the movie, but you want to elevate the entire movie.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
not just about you. It's not just about your character. It's
Right.
I mean, I often learn the lines for every character in a movie, and that happens
Hmm.
just out of a matter of course from rehearsal.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm. Well, that I mean that's a good thing. I mean, say especially on stage, if you know everyone else's lines, and then say another character happens to forget, which isn't on that not un that uncommon on stage. If they forget their lines and you know their lines, you can sort of maybe work around it and kind of lead the story the way it's supposed to be with the missed lines to get there anyway, right? To get to the end result anyway, right? If you
sure,
know everyone
absolutely.
else's lines.
It's nobody is about stepping on somebody else's territory.
Yeah, yeah.
That's kind of an insidious habit of sometimes. But we joke about it having dueling last lines because every actor's wanting to have the last line in the scene. Looked like I was working with Giancarlo and Carlo Esposito on one thing, and he kept improving the last line, and so I would improv the next line,
And you go
and so
back and
you're
forth, right?
never letting the scene end.
It's like who's gonna win this round, right?
Well, it's kind of a rap battle then at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, you were talking about your film company there. How long that how long's that been in existence? The film
I
company.
started on Common Dialogue Films in 2005. Up to
Okay.
that time, I had done some assignments for other people for scripts, but we really brought the company into being with 2005, and I began developing a slate of projects. And then it kind of took off counterintuitively with COVID because we were very blessed to get a number of script writing assignments that then became producing gigs because people were happy with what we did with the script. So yeah, COVID for me, although it's surreal time, and I'm aware of how brutally it affected a lot of people economically. I'm thinking of restaurants that were forced to
Oh, yeah.
close and things like that, all of which I was vehemently against the lockdowns and things like that. Um, but COVID was quite great for myself, my wife, and my team because I lost a couple of films as an actor, which doesn't matter because we holed up and just wrote and created projects while we were doing it. And the same thing occurs during the recent strike. We never stopped. We just kept honing our material
Hmm.
and elevating the scripts as we go
Yeah,
along.
yeah. Just
Not
keep.
in the function of scabs, but
Oh no, no.
just
Yeah, yeah,
polishing.
yeah,
There's an
yeah,
expression:
yeah.
a great
Well,
whaler sharpens his harpoon.
right, right, right.
When there are no whales around, or
Yeah,
goes up their sails.
yeah, yeah. Well, you were just keeping your acting muscles exercised, right? For when things finally broke and opened up, then you'd be ready to hit the ground running, right?
I'm thinking mostly in terms of writing and producing.
Uh-huh.
My acting muscles are in pretty great shape. Uh, and I don't say that arrogantly. I just think,
Hmm.
um,
Well, yeah, you
I
have
don't
to.
think I think acting is really great creative exercise, but it's not rocket science. You can learn how to do it if someone is instructed by someone who knows what they're doing and has been
Hmm.
on the front lines for a long time.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, some would say, who do you want to go to war with? A captain who's been on the front lines for 30 years, or do you want to go with somebody who's only in theory, not actually been there on the street
Right. Has a
doing it?
lot of book knowledge, but not a lot of street knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you function as an actor in LA in the period, and I'm very grateful for the period that I've existed there, you're learning dialects continually.
Hmm.
You have maybe 20 or 30 minutes to memorize your lines. If it says cry, you cry. If it says you're a Russian, you're a Russian.
Hmm.
If you need to write some dialogue, you know how to write some dialogue. Hopefully, you're lucky, like I am, and you develop almost a photographic memory.
Hmm.
Because when I first began learning lines was challenging, but like working out at the gym, it becomes a muscle that's
Hmm.
fully attuned. And there are also techniques you learn that help you to memorize lines.
Hmm. Hmm.
I've developed a couple of them myself, and we convey those to people when
Hmm.
they're studying with us.
Yeah, I know one technique that I heard that is effective. That you write your lines down. You know, you read your line when you're first learning your lines. You write your lines down on a piece of paper, and in that way you make You like your body makes a physical connection with the words because it's like a physical.
Say that again. You write the lines down and
You're
you,
right. I've heard this one technique. I've never tried it, but I've heard of this one technique where you write your lines down on a piece of paper, and it's purported that you have actually then like a physical connection with the words because it's your hand to the pen to the paper, and it
yeah, I
makes
can see
like a
that.
direct link to your brain so you can recall it better because there's like actually a physical connection between the word and your brain, the word, the pen, the hand, and the brain.
Not only your eyes are visually, the way I learned dialects, the I would write down phonetically what it sounded like. And for some reason, that made learning dialects
Mhm,
easier for me,
mhm, mhm.
maybe because I was a visual person rather than just listening to a tape
Oh
over.
yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah.
actually writing down what the differences were between any dialect and, say, regular English. And that's where a dialect coach can actually help out. You can also go to the internet and say, how do I speak like a Serbian? Uh,
Right, right.
and and get it pretty quickly. And then you polish it with a dialect coach
Hmm, hmm,
as you after you've gotten the job right up to
hmm,
production.
hmm, hmm.
Dying for living. I better get back to
Yeah.
dying for living.
Uh,
Um,
the
Tuesday, we launch on Tuesday. Go to the Dying for Living Kickstarter link.
hmm,
Uh, if your audience would, there are great rewards, great
hmm,
perks for people who become backers.
hmm.
I'm extremely grateful for the reaction we've gotten, and uh, and I will see people on the set because you can be filmed in an action sequence by with myself and the great Art Camacho and Stephen Colson and these other great
Hmm,
actors.
hmm, hmm.
Uh,
Uh,
we're
that
There
that
exclusive wardrobe items that people can purchase.
yes,
Uh,
I was just going to ask you about that. It says just in time for Valentine's Day. So, do you have like a little teaser of what those might be to kind of pique their interest to
well,
take a look at your?
there's two ways. Kickstarter only lets you put up 10 initially. Um, and so there are two waves of perks. The first 10 are, well, actually the first 17, we have 17 on the first. Uh, it depends on the scale of how much you adore your Valentine, but let's suppose you want to get them to have a role in the film, or an extra role, or a fight sequence, or you want to purchase and back and participate and get them a title of an associate producer for yourself. There's or co-producer credits all the way up to executive producer. Suppose you want to uh, bid on, and there's a limited number of those, the suits that I wear in the movies, and then we can have them personally tailored to you for the after the campaign, after the principal production. Let's suppose that you want one of the garments, and they're some exquisite garments because we've had designers come in and provide extraordinary things for the costume. Let's
Mhm,
suppose you want to, uh, I hesitate to say purchase, but participate in the campaign
mhm,
by getting that particular item. Then I think there's 10 exquisite wardrobe items. The coat that Egan Machado wears, I'm giving to him, but there are other extraordinary um, wardrobe items that can be bid on. There's HD digital at the entry level. There's HD posters of the film and the cast photos. There's autographed pictures from me. There's lunch with me and the available cast. There's a Q&A situation, so you can actually have a digital Q&A with us while you're watching the film in your hometown.
Okay.
There's a whole slew of things. I mean, I'm really I'm a recreational and competitive shooter. So I hand selected the replica airsoft guns that we have for their beauty and their uniqueness. So one can bid on one of those or get one of, there's only 7 of those, but one can get those things. So there's a wide range of, of course, you can attend the VIP glamorous premiere with your favorite action stars and have a meet and greet with all of them. There's a lot of places where people can relate and they can participate. And we're also flexible with, you'll see on the deck if there's certain specific things that, you communicate with Patrick Kilpatrick and the team, and we'll make that work.
Well, there's something, a little something for everybody, no matter how much or how little they want to get involved. There's a category for everybody to participate. So
I think so. I
yeah.
think so. And that's evolving. We have 2 complete sets of rewards, and there'll be more and more coming on as we go down the line.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Tuesday, February 13th, go to the link, reward yourself, check out the teaser, check out the stellar cast. There's great beauties, great badasses.
Something for everyone.
Well, it's a circus. Although we don't abdicate elegance and we don't abdicate simplicity where that's appropriate.
Right.
But it's a kick-ass, adrenaline-fueled, character-driven, laughter, love. And I don't say these things lightly. Redemption, pathos, tragedy, loss of love. There's a lot of great things in the story.
I know what you're thinking. Things have been messy. I agree. I might have handled it better. Been more compassionate.
I don't wish to vacate.
One turn of the sun. Then I will kill your delightful twins, your hot son, and your still smoking wife. Wow.
And this is sort of similar to sort of along the same lines in like your other films too, because you had, what was it, another you had another martial arts film. It was called Black Creek, right? That was the one.
Black Creek is Cynthia Rothrock's great conceptual exercise to a mixed martial arts Western. Nothing more fun than a mixed martial arts movie, nothing more fun than a Western. So she's got a great concept there, and I was very proud and privileged to play her brother. And
I was just going to ask you what your role is. Yeah. Oh, her brother.
Well, I play her honorable sheriff brother.
Okay.
And which was I love doing, and I love Westerns because horses and all of that.
Oh yeah.
Plus
a lot of opportunities for stunts too, right? In a Western.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do a lot of stunts in this one. It was mostly my. I don't want to spoil alert, but it was nice playing an honorable sheriff.
Tease just enough to get people's interest.
Right. Well, I think they'll see a different Patrick Kilpatrick, and also I enjoy the great exercise that Cynthia, you know, you're talking about a woman who her Kickstarter campaign was not overly elaborate, although well crafted, and it's such a testament to her enduring popularity, and it's such a testament to her organizational ability and the compelling attraction to 80s, 90s martial arts movies. And the fans embraced her so remarkably and continue to do so. And I hope they'll do the same in Dying for Living as she appears with us. And uh, just a lot of, it was a very, very fun, extraordinary experience to act with her and a lot of great people. I know Robert Spencer, her producer colleague, and they're an item romantically as well, and he's an extraordinary guy. The fellow, I'm drawing a blank on who it was, and which is sort of unforgivable, but who plays the villain in that movie. He's an extraordinary Australian stunt coordinator as well as an actor. He did Fury Road
Okay.
for George Miller and that franchise. He's a great guy, and I'm just not going to. I can't have to. I have to look him up, but just because I cannot not say his name. But anyway, it's such a great team, and everybody in it was, you know, after you've written, directed, produced, and starred in something, just to act is like a vacation.
Right.
So it's like it was such a wonderful lark.
So you don't have those other areas to be concerned with. You just concentrate on your role and that's it, right? Nothing else in the periphery. You just
Yeah, I
concentrate.
mean, you know, it's like this is so a lark. It was just a lark, even as you're being brutalized and by the. I'm gonna say, I'm just 1 second villain of Black Creek.
And that story is basically about what Black Creek. Anything similar to
Well,
Dying for Living or a little
no, not at all. Dying for
different?
Living is a contemporary, hyper stylistic. I to use it's a kick-ass adrenaline fueled action film, but it's kind of a sophisticated palette,
Oh,
sophisticated
okay.
painting, and
Okay. And
martial art. Where I mean, the wardrobe very, very different. You know,
mhm,
I've got well-cut suits, and the
mhm,
women are grandly dressed, and
mhm,
color palette is very different. Mixed martial arts, Western,
mhm,
everybody's
mhm.
in Western garb. It's
Right.
down. It's not Tombstone type
Mhm.
Western
Yeah,
costumes,
yeah, I was
but
just going to ask you
very
to refer to that.
reality-based
Yeah.
stuff. Here we go. I can't read that, but anyway, so they're very different films, very different
Mhm.
themes. Black Creek is set off. I playing her brother, stand up against this band of ruthless marauders, and don't do well in the in the
Oh,
so it's her going after the people who have caused her brother's demise and
oh, okay, okay.
his,
So she sort of takes over and is at the forefront of making things change the way she wants to see the story end, right? She sort of takes the reins to kind of make it go the way that she wants to, right? Your character in the end sort of takes a back seat to her character in the
Well,
end.
I don't want to give away the story,
No,
but
no, no, no.
Richard Norton is the guy who plays the villain. He's brilliant. He's
Mhm,
an
mhm.
Aussie actor and stunt coordinator. The moment he walked out, I said, if I ever have to cast a stunt coordinator, you're it. Because he's got that look and it's kind of, the accent and everything, and it lends
Okay.
itself to that. But he's brilliant and very theatrical as the villain. And I'm really pleased to have worked with him. We had a blast. He's a really fun guy. And his wife is great too. And
Yeah,
we would just spend a lot of time laughing.
yeah.
Like his wife is sort of his aide de camp in a lot of ways. My wife is sort of, I wouldn't say my aide de camp. Uh, she's my executive vice president and
Okay.
chief elevator, and uh,
Okay.
wives and husbands. Robert Downey Jr. was saying at the Golden Globes, his wife who's a producer, is his chief caregiver. Well, my wife isn't my chief caregiver. She's my chief collaborator.
Right.
Um,
The CEO, right? The CEO.
and
Or
I'm nominally the CEO, but
CEO.
I'm not so sure that she isn't nominated to be
Right, which you should, yeah, which you should be, sure.
Empress of Uncommon Dialogue Films. So,
Right. Yeah,
and I'm blessed. I'm
yeah,
very blessed in that
yeah.
regard. So,
Yeah, yeah.
dying for living, and then beyond that, and I hope your audience will look at the extraordinary Uncommon Dialogue films on the way. We've got one with the great director Darren Sarafian attached, Flight 2222.
I've
Uh,
seen you post about that too. Yes, yeah.
he is the chief executive producer, writer, and director of Lost and House, and has a great feature career. And he's on board for the Flight 2222. We've got a slate of films. I don't want to take message off too much what we're doing with Dying for Living right now, but
Mhm,
um, there's a great tapestry of films here at Uncommon Dialogue
mhm,
Films.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
again, people mouth this, but the truth is, it's without a great team, you're not going anywhere.
No, no, I totally agree with that.
You're
You
not
can't
going.
yeah, you can't do anything on your own. You all have to work together. Right. Right.
I
Totally.
mean, Tom Brady might be the quarterback,
Yeah.
or Patrick Mahomes.
Hmm.
If they don't have a great team, and also if they're not lionizing their linemen and they're lionizing the other members of the team, there's something
Hmm.
deeply wrong. I'm so grateful. Have you seen Poor Things?
No, that's one thing I haven't seen yet. No.
You got to see it. It's a life-changing movie. In my opinion, the profoundly Oppenheimer, brilliant movie. Poor Things, profoundly innovative and great story. But I was so happy that Mark Ruffalo is getting the attention that he should.
He's a great actor. I know I've been
He is
following his career
astounding.
for years. Yeah. Yeah.
He is really brilliant in Poor Things, and he was somewhat ignored in the Golden Globes exchange.
Hmm.
I'm so grateful that he's gotten this Academy Award nomination now. I
Hmm.
thought Emma Stone clearly deserved the Best Actress nomination for Poor Things.
Hmm. Hmm.
She's really up. Her
She
performance
is. She,
really
yeah,
up.
she like totally transforms herself in every role that I mean that she embodies. I mean, she is that character. I mean, you just believe it so much that she is who she portrays like that. But yeah, that's another very excellent actor. Yeah.
Brilliant. How do you pick a best picture among Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and stuff, and director? Very hard.
I know. I was going to
How do
say
you
I
best
wouldn't want the
actor?
job to do that.
Well, Emma Stone clearly deserves the Best Actress thing, in my
Mhm,
opinion. It's a league above everything else.
mhm. Just wanted to plug your new series, Hypno Challenge, about reducing stress, managing conflicts, break bad, and
Yeah.
bad. You want to say anything quickly before you have to leave about that?
Well,
I found it very
it's a great
interesting.
opportunity. There's some restructuring going on the show after the first couple of days of filming. I got Eric Roberts to be the host. That's what they wanted. I was
Yeah.
initially hired there as a co-producer and the casting director.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
And he
and
it was a pleasure to meet him in person at the Chandler International Film Festival.
he's a great guy. We've really
Yes, yeah, really, really. Yeah.
terrific actor, and I've had the occasion to work with him 5 or 6 times. I um, I think what's going to be key to Hypno Challenge is what happens with this restructuring. Um, because everybody's gotten their feet wet. We've got the cast that they wanted.
Good. That's good.
And at the same time, we're moving towards the model of the pilot episode, if you will. And it's key that that become the full manifestation of what the show needs to be.
Right,
Um,
right,
and there's a lot of different dynamics working among the team there, and we'll see what happens on that. But
and basically it's a reality series. And did you want to like elaborate how
well, the premise is, and the reality of it is, you have a renowned hypnotherapist, renowned uh, uh, performance coach, a renowned spiritual advisor, and a renowned mentalist. And we find people who have fallen onto negative narratives in their lives through a combination of circumstances like a wounded warrior or a victim of sex trafficking, or one person I brought to the table, his son was shot in the face while he was providing security
Oh
for
my.
a great retail place. Those are the kind of people that we bring together, and I know for a fact the power of performance and athleticism. It saved me a lot of times. I know the power of spiritual advisement, and we have a great spiritual advisor who's in his own right a rock star, and renowned hypnotist Michelle Guzzi, who I have myself been hypnotized by her, and it had a profound effect on my life. Tristan, the performance coach. So we have these coaches, and these people will come in and be elevated by it. I say right now we're in the process of structuring that final episode.
Okay. So for anyone that's interested on being on that show, is there a way to get in contact with you, like by
Yes, the casting notice has been one of our Instagram posts, but they can always go to Kilpatrick203@gmail.com.
Okay.
And they also can contact me there if they want to know anything about dying for living, if they've got a specific situation they want to talk to about dying for living, or hypnotherapy. And they'll receive the criteria for being on hypnotherapy, and we can go from there.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah.
They have to, right now, they have to get themselves to LA. And it's because the budget of the show doesn't allow us flying people in. So if they can get themselves to LA for the interview process, but we elaborate that more. Anybody wants to contact me, where there's a will, there's a way.
That's right. That's right. And that's the very, very first step, is being in LA first, and then the rest of it will follow. So,
onward.
That's right. That's right. I want to thank you, Patrick, for being on my show today. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you for your accepting graciously my invitation to be on the show. And I wish you all the best success for your future projects after Dying for a Living, which has the Kickstarter campaign starting Tuesday, February 13th. For all of you out there that are listening, go to the links and all the information will be there. Patrick, I thank
You
you
can go to
again.
UD Films, my company's website, udfilms.com, for information about it, because the link doesn't go live until February 13th. But I hope you all have a great Valentine's Day. Thank you very much, Edward, for giving me the platform. And
My pleasure. My
reach.
pleasure, Patrick.
So,
And I wish you and your family a great day, a great Valentine's Day, and much success in the future.
thank
So,
you. You too.
so everyone out there, my name is Edward S. Redcar, the host of Edward S. Redcar's Entertainer Chat. And today I've had the absolute pleasure of speaking with actor, producer, screenwriter, and director, and in his new movie, Dying for a Living, that we've been talking about today. And if you get a chance, I know that you'll want to see it. I know that you'll want to donate to the Kickstarter campaign. It'll be well worth your while. So until we meet again next time, have a good day, and so long.
Super Bowl weekend. Be good to each other.
That's right.
Thank you, sir.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
There he is, my friend Denard. I've been waiting for you. I know you have questions. It's a compression bandage. I had a full facelift, a neck lift, and the eyes brightened. Now, it's no good for me to have lazy eyes and a chicken neck and labial folds. My patients, no, they'd look at me with that and they would just have disgust and disdain. But look at you. Our remedy has effect. Have a drink.
What do you want from me?
Dr. Brown sent me to check in on you. He didn't tell you? That's strange.
Yeah, stranger here.
No. Look, if you work with Dr. Brown, you're on the top of the food chain.
Excuse me?
This whole thing with my daughter and you, it's not going to work out.
Oh, God, it's the jokes.
No, it's not the jokes, Rob. It's you. You're the joke. Take a look at Katie and look at yourself. Do you think you're anywhere near her league? You're as far below her station as one can be. I don't know what she sees in you. I know what I see in you, and I see a peasant. You like to tell stories? Write a book. Nice guy. Make a friend. But my daughter doesn't deserve a life lacking in worth in a disgusting apartment in a dangerous neighborhood. By the time I was your age, I had already paid off this whole house and I was looking to buy a yacht. Do you think you'll ever be able to buy a house like this? Never in a million years. Now that's the life for Katie. End it with grace, but end it you must.